Florida, 38. South Carolina, 24. South Carolina, oh boy, 6 for 17 on third down. They were 5 of 6 on fourth down, though, yesterday. 83 plays South Carolina ran. Now, that doesn't matter. They don't give you points for plays, but it's going to matter in just a second for something I'm about to tell you. Florida ran 53 of them, largely made the most out of them. For South Carolina, it was really good. There's been a lot of talk. Marshawn Lloyd out for the season at running back. Who's going to fill the void? Well, Kevin Harris, admirable performance yesterday, 22 runs for 100 yards. So they still have a ways to go. There's too many holes to really count on the South Carolina team. But Florida's got a big one this week. Florida goes to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is in what we like to call wounded animal mode. A&M's season, for all intents and purposes, is already on the line. If they want to have a hope of contending in the West or doing anything, being one of those teams who vultures a playoff spot out of the eventual mess that ends up at the end of the season, they got to win. Out, probably, but they definitely have to win Saturday. Florida ran 83 plays in this game. Florida ran 83 plays, and also, if you watch them, that depth situation, a little bit concerning in the secondary. Their inability to get disruption and put pressure on a quarterback up front, also concerning, because that keeps you on the field. And listen, as bad as that final score for A&M and Alabama looks, I don't think Kellen Mond played half bad against Alabama. He didn't get any help. Their best receiver is their running back right now. But, two things I think. I think Florida can score easily against that secondary of A&M. I also think A&M can do a little work against Florida, because if South Carolina can, I can tell you A&M can. Arkansas 21, Mississippi State 14 in the year of our Lord, 2020. Does anyone remember, how long ago was it, Colin? 4 years or 6 years ago? No, actually it was last week. It was 7 days ago. When everyone was talking about the air raid takeover, your words, not mine, of the SEC. Well, I don't know if it's still happening. I haven't gotten the latest notification. It's at least on pause for 1 week. So we told you that as congratulatory as you wanted to be towards Mississippi State, and you should have been in week 1, they went on the road and they beat the LSU Tigers, and that's all great. What did we tell you about the outcome? We did not view it as having any value as it relates to what the future holds. We took it, and when it comes to valuing it for future projection, we wadded it up and we threw it in the trash can, because there were so many unique factors to that game that will never exist in any other game Mississippi State plays. A lot of you got mad. A lot of you said I was just trying to rain on their parade. No, I wasn't. I was happy with the parade. After the parade was over, I just wanted to pull you to the side and say, now if you wonder why I'm not quite on board with you on this float here, this is why. And we gave you the old crowbar analogy. The crowbar, when it comes to a Mike Leach offense, is you don't slow it down. It doesn't go from scoring 44 to just scoring 33. That's not how it happens. You're either scoring 44, 45 points, or you're scoring like 10 to 14. Because someone takes the crowbar and they get it in the bicycle spokes, and Arkansas got the crowbar in the bicycle spokes yesterday. They did this funny thing. It's this new concept. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's this new defensive thing that some coordinators have figured out. And they call it zone defense is what they call it. Zone, Z-O-N-E. And what you do apparently is you just go to a predetermined spot and sit there. It's crazy. I don't know if Bo Pelini's heard about it, but I can tell you Barry Odom and the guys at Arkansas took a fraction of the talent that LSU has on its roster, even after being gutted by opt-outs in the draft, and said, oh, we're cool. We'll handle it here. How many plays did Mississippi State run yesterday to score those 14 points? 84. All they did, Arkansas, being they, is sit in an umbrella all night and said, take the underneath stuff all night. Do whatever you want to. You are not going over the top of us, and then we're just going to crunch you once you get down in here, and you're not going to kick a field goal, so we'll win. We'll win that way. And they did. 84 plays to score 14 points. Efficiency, it is not. Arkansas defensive back, by the way, I forgot who it was, but there was an Arkansas defensive back after this game who was asked, essentially, how did you do what LSU couldn't do? And he said, well, really, it wasn't all that hard because we kind of knew what was coming. What show was it last week? And I don't take credit for this because, listen, Jimmy Lake, now the head coach at Washington, he's been out on the West Coast just openly saying this, not anonymously. He's just openly been saying for years, they're not that hard to defend. We know what's coming every week. Like every year we play them and we dominate them. And so someone popped on some Washington tape during the week and said, well, we could do that. Even we can do that. And they did it. So the air raid takeover on hold for at least 1 week. as is Central Florida's entry into the college football playoff. Because as much as they may be the best team in Florida, they were the second best team in Orlando last night. I've been waiting 24 hours to say it. Tulsa, 34. Central Florida, 26. A 21-game home win streak snapped just like that. Anyone in the room, last home loss for Central Florida was 2016, and it was Tulsa. 18 penalties in this game, by the way. 18. That's rough. That's a bad month for some teams. 18 penalties for Central Florida. Playoff shot, probably done. However, to his credit, he is nothing if not consistent. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel after the game, I don't know what the context was. I don't know who asked him. I just heard the soundbite. He confirmed they still are the best team in the state of Florida. We'll just let that be your little secret, Dylan. Moving on. Oklahoma State, so quietly. Mike Gundy putting on, of all things, defensive clinics in the Big 12 now. 47-7, a win over Kansas. This is not a game we're going to spend more than 45 seconds on. However, I do want to just frame this up a little bit. A lot of people punted on the old Cowboys after their Week 1 struggle win against Tulsa. Well, that Tulsa team just took care of Central Florida. So it's funny how we recontextualize things once we get a little more perspective and we move further into the season. Everyone's Week 1 narratives are shaped on a perception that you built out of thin air and preview magazines. And sometimes we learn our preconceived notions about teams were wrong. So you thought Tulsa was trash, therefore since they struggled with them, they must be trash. Transitive trash. Well, now we see Oklahoma State still with a goose egg in the loss column, looking like the best team in the Big 12 right now, and they don't play a high-profile opponent this week. They have a bye, and then they go to Baylor, Iowa State, Texas, at Kansas State. What's going to happen in the Big 12? Anyone's guess. A lot of average football out there, and to be honest with you, I have no clue what the ceiling is for that Oklahoma State team, but we did predict them to at least be in the Big 12 championship game. We have a very, very important announcement to make here. Well, the first one is we're begging you to subscribe to the channel. So that's not really an announcement, that's just a plea. Do it, it's free. We had a great week last week. We hope to duplicate that this week.